Hello and good evening for this Thursday, August 1st, 2024. We have just finished watching the week 2 eviction in the Big Brother 26 house. At the end of the game for somebody, but we're just getting started here on Super Mario Brothers podcasting, a live stream review to talk about this episode this week here in the Big Brother house. I'm Dave Mader, joined with my brother Jeff Mader. Jeff, Lisa's game is over. They vote for some reason. They're voting out. Spoilers, everybody. Lisa.
Yeah. Somehow she was more annoying.
Somehow Lisa had to go here tonight. She was more of a threat.
Was it that, or was she more annoying?
More annoying. But what is she more annoying? Like, do you think? I can't imagine living with Angela is easier than living with Lisa. But
No,
maybe it is. I don't know. There's just Tucker pushed hard here, I think, Jeff, to get rid of Lisa. I think nobody else really wanted to push that hard against it. They were like, whatever, it's one or the other, depending on who's left on the block. They were kind of confident Tucker would win this AI comp. He was confident he would win it. He does. He takes himself off, and he it's a 8-1, no, 11-1 vote or something like that.
A lot to one.
This was quite the blowout. Lisa stunned Jeff, completely blindsided. She gave obligatory hugs on the way out.
That was painful.
Those were some cold hugs.
Yeah, and also what? Why are you hugging people? This has to stop with the hugs. You got blindsided. Walk out. Make a scene. Make a moment. Don't just hug people and just make it all I don't know. Have some showmanship. If I got evicted, I'm out. See you later. I'm not hugging any of you. Bye.
What if someone goes out of the way to hug you?
No. Say
no. You're not. You're tossing off that hug. You're saying no. I'm
gonna say I would probably have turned them and said no hugs. And walked out, No,
well, hey, I think you're right as a contestant. If you want to walk out of there without any kind of goodbye, you live together 24/7 for this was day 17 in the Big Brother house. So, just over 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks now. Lisa has been with them, but she was completely blindsided here, Jeff. She had no clue that they were lying to her. And if anything, we lost what I would say was a weak player. I don't know if Lisa would have blossomed into a very strategic, sort of entertaining house guest. I think just from an entertainment standpoint, I guess I would rather have seen Lisa go here than Angela. But you would think from the house guest perspective, they would be like, no, Lisa or Angela is causing way more chaos, blowing up games. And I think if it was up to Quinn specifically, they would have voted out Angela tonight, but enough of the house rallied against Lisa.
Well, I think you had a Quinn, and then you could have gotten Mackenzie, Leah, obviously Kenny. There's 4 right there. How many you need? You need 6, right? So
7 to evict.
Oh, yeah. No, it wouldn't 6 do it, or 6 would. So it would be 6 to 5.
Julie said 7 tonight.
Oh yeah, because it's 11 to 1, so it's 12 votes. So 6 would tie it, and then. Yeah,
Chelsea would break the tie.
Yeah, so there just weren't enough people willing to, I guess, not vote out Lisa. There's certain players in this game where, they're just playing the big alliance nonsense. Everyone's playing safe. And
I think the part that irritates me mostly about these early week seasons. Or sorry, the early weeks is always well, who was the one person who didn't vote with the house last week? Yeah. Then they're automatically a target, which I think is ridiculous. But that has sort of become the narrative for a couple of years now, where it's well, no, everyone, as much as possible, we want to try to get a majority or a unanimous vote. Because we're voting as a house. Who is the house target? What's the HOH's will? We have to respect that HOH's will. I don't know if that goes back to the early seasons. I don't think it does, but it's. I think that's not a healthy gameplay from anybody. And I think you're sort of, spiting your nose to save your face, if you will. It's kind of not really, um, like I heard it in some of the diary rooms tonight, from Chelsea, and I was just like, this is kind of like, why don't you guys try to like have factions and start thinking like a few steps ahead in the game? Don't just think about surviving to jury, which is what I think has also been a problem for a while. It's like, well, I don't want to go out irrelevant. I want to sort of be on the show long enough to make the jury. I'll be remembered from the season. Otherwise, you're kind of not, right? Like we hardly remember any of these boots after, we tend to remember the jurors just because they get so much more screen time in the season. They're there, up to 14 weeks sometimes in a run of a show. You're watching them for almost 100 episodes. It's a long time. But these people who like only, get evicted like what was this, the 10th episode tonight or something like that. It's how much will we remember Lisa, Jeff?
Yeah, not much. Yeah, okay, here's the deal. I'm happy Angela stayed because she's much better TV. But from a Big Brother like game perspective, like Angela deserved to go home like so bad. Like
yes,
so bad. She was the sloppiest game player I think I've seen in such a long time. I don't even know who I could compare her to.
Well, like maybe some people I know in real life, but not so much. Yeah, like other reality TV contestants. I feel like would you know somebody with Angela's personality attributes?
Well, I do think like she has a very common like trope where whenever she's attacked, cry and try to get sympathy and then turn it on a dime and start bullying people and calling people names, and like everything that Angela does is like classic bully. Like she really is, like, but she's great TV.
But she was the bullied as a child, Jeff. That was in
well,
middle
that's
school.
Usually how bullies become bullies.
Bullies, they were bullied by someone else first, and then they became the bully sometimes. Like the founders in Star Trek. It's
right. She's the founder of Big Brother.
She's the Slum Jens of Big Brother 26. Yeah, like I think Angela is a terrible player. You're right. She has like sort of a modus operandi about how she defends herself when she feels like she's, people are calling her on anything. She's like, "What are you saying? How could you say that about me?" And like it's just like,
and then she'll like sort of admit it, and then be like, be like, "Oh, Quinn is the one." And it's always someone else's fault, and then she's smart enough to like kind of own it, but at the same time not really mean it. Like you can kind of tell
she's kind of all over the place with it. She's always straddling the fence of like sanity and like rational, and you're like, okay, I know you, Angela, and then just like her complete irrationality and sort of just going off the deep end and kind of just like energy, and you're like, come back to me, Angela, and she'll be like, okay, I'm here. You're like, but you're always on guard. It's like sleeping next to an elephant, Jeff. It's just like
she probably would hate this. I don't know her politics, but she does have like a lot of like Trump kind of tendencies in her, where she said it tonight, like where she's like, oh, I'm just saying what everybody's thinking. And that's kind of like what Trump does. Like he says things that it's like, I can't believe he just said that. But at the same time, you're like, all right, like a lot of people go, oh, I see his point, or but
like the most recent comments that Trump made.
Oh yeah, I did. Yes, but I'm not talking about that.
I didn't know she was black, or she became black. That was the other.
I wish yeah. Like, no, and I'm not saying I agree with what Trump says or anything like that. But what I'm trying to say is, some people do, and like, and you can kind of talk yourself into like, I'm right, or I'm correct about this, and then people kind of go, oh yeah, I see what you mean. But like, it's not working for Angela. But I'm guessing it does work in her real life sometimes.
I'm sure. Well, but maybe in her family, and
right.
I don't know. Like Angela's, even her speech tonight when she was like making her case, that was tough. I thought, like, she's like, I'm so excited. And, like, I'm like, oh, this is her how she got on The Price is Right. Clearly, she's just got that like, come on down. sort of vibe, and I just find her a little bit obnoxious, hard to watch, but also can't stop watching. Like she's
Yeah.
memorable, right? Like she's definitely a memorable. I think
Absolutely.
she's good casting. If you can keep her here, I guess they did. But even at the end of the episode, did you see like her mind was turning, like the gears were turning there? She's like, who? I couldn't figure out if she was thinking about who voted against me, who was the one vote, which was Kenny, by the way. And Kenny wants.
Who's the only principled person in the house? I would say.
Yeah, well, Kenny apparently just wants out of the game, but he won the veto this week, so that was a problem for him. So no, no one made him win that veto.
No,
but he did, and then he's like, "Oh, I wish I hadn't won this veto." But I'm definitely want to go to next week, unless I win HOH. Imagine Kenny is the HOH, and he still wants to quit, but he can't.
That'd be great. I'm self-evicting on my HOH.
If he was just like the most apathetic HOH, like just like I don't know, whoever we get rid of, but he probably target Angela, in all likelihood.
I'd really like to see somebody like a Leah or Mackenzie win the HOH.
Leah, you're cheering for Mackenzie.
Well, they're both my girls in the draft, but I'm just tired of this big group that all seem to just like they're just playing safe.
What about the Pentagon? Safe. You're not impressed?
No, I'm not impressed. I don't like Quinn. Not a fan. Don't like this guy.
Yeah.
Don't like him. I don't know why. I
get bad vibes. I get creepo vibes.
I just get like not good vibes. I don't want to cheer for him. To me, he's like a villain. Like
he's like the Joker.
Yeah, he's like the jester, the court jester of Big Brother this year. I'm just like not a fan of his gameplay. Like, even though he's honest to the DR, which I do respect, he is at least honest to the DR.
Yes.
But there's just I don't know. I don't know. There's something about him. I'm just like I have a hard time cheering for him. Tucker I like, but this last couple of episodes, I'm like he's very petty. He's very like he gets fixated like
like he did on Lisa here,
like he did on Lisa. Like I don't think that's gonna end either. Like I think that'll I understand like his point about Lisa, but at the same time, like get over it. Like why was Lisa so disliked? Like I mean like. Maybe I'm not living with her for 17 days in a row, but and she does seem kind of annoying. But at the same time, like, was she the biggest threat in the house? Like,
how she was annoying, I don't think they showed that in the show at all. I didn't get anything in these edited episodes that was suggest why Lisa was disliked, other than when she first came in, she was very the glitter, and I just remember her like she was like Kenny and like and all that, but like I don't think that's that bad, I'm sure
they showed the whole montage with Tucker and like how much she annoyed Tucker, and like that was the only time where you really saw it. But I'm like, okay, I get why Tucker doesn't like her, but why would 10 other people like dislike her so much? Why is she like really? She was a threat at competitions because she won one veto. Like
she
really,
when Angela won an HOH. I think that argument is sort of null. I think it's just like it was like I feel like no one was like whatever Tucker, sure, okay, like we'll get rid of Lisa first. We're gonna get rid of both of them. So we if we get rid of Lisa, we'll do another week of Angela for you. And every time Angela does something, it's on you now. If you can control her, that's gonna be hilarious to see. I don't know, like I think Tucker is not a guy I'm really enjoying as a I wouldn't like him either in real life, like the way you're feeling about Quinn.
No, I have the same vibe. I feel like Tucker's kind of like the like a bit of a know-it-all. I study human psychology. Come on, get over yourself.
I know you're lying. She's like, I took sociology. And he's like, that's not the same. It's not as good. It's not New York style like I do it. But, I've been studying it like he's in marketing, so I get sort of what he's saying, that you study behavior. If you're in sales, you study human behavior to an extent, right?
Yes,
but there is sort of an art to it, but like he's also full of shit. The way he's explaining it, and the way he's confronting her in that moment. And she's just oblivious. Like I think, like she
was oblivious.
She was but I guess she was also useless to most of these house guests. We're like, well, what am I going to do with Lisa? Is she in an alliance with me? I don't even know who she was really allied with. I don't think she had any agency in this game, and so her going out here, it's not like tragic or anything. Oh, I wish if only Lisa had stuck around. And I agree with you. I would rather see Angela for another week, but I feel like she's got her comeuppance coming for her.
Well, someone else is gonna tick her off, and it's gonna blow up into a giant thing.
What if she's the next HOH?
I would love it. That would be great. I'm all for it. Even though I don't like Angela, like as a TV character, she is fantastic.
Right.
Because
and I feel, yeah. Go ahead.
Because Dave, like what she is so like predictably unpredictable. Like I'm like, there's no way she's just gonna have a chill week where nothing's gonna happen. That's not in her. That is not going to happen.
She's here to play. She's here to be on a TV show for sure.
Yes. She knows she's on a TV show. A lot of these freaking people in this house don't know. Like Joseph, you're on a TV show, Joseph.
Oh, Joseph is a little, I'd say like I'm not enjoying him as much as a player because he's just so whatever.
Hey, Julie,
he's just kind of like, what's up? It was just kind of really, I don't know. I was not getting not getting the right vibe from Joseph, but I know with all these things said, I still like this cast sort of, and I think that it's an interesting season. More from. I don't know, but I don't know who I'm rooting for in the mix. I don't know if I of course I have like my people in the draft like Cam and Chelsea, but I don't know if I'm rooting for either of them yet. As just a viewer, like who's the underdog? Who's the person you connect with in this season? Do you have one yet? Other than the people you drafted, you said you had Leah and
Mackenzie, which are the two people I feel like I'm going for the most, regardless of even if I had drafted them, because like, okay, I always like to cheer for the people that are clearly not in the big group that I don't really feel like deserve not to be in the big group. Like I don't understand why they're like, what's wrong with them? Like what, like,
yeah, they're not in the Pentagon.
Not in the Pentagon. They're not in the collective.
They're not.
Why is Quinn in everything? What,
Quinn's in too many alliances, and it's going to blow up in his face, and he kind of knows it. And Angela sticking around was not good for his game because she's going to blow it up, and she already said she's going to blow it up. But yeah,
good.
Mackenzie, Rubina is this other one I don't really understand where she sits. Decor's in the mix, but like, how exactly is she part of the Pentagon?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
No.
But
Pentagon's tight with Quinn anyway. So.
Yeah.
The hexagon.
Pentagon's like the hexagon. Yeah. Chelsea, Cedric, Cam, Quinn, and Brooklyn. Brooklyn's another one that's a little strange because she doesn't really fit in so much. She's like, she's the older mom here, Mrs. America, not Miss.
Right.
Thank you very much. But I don't know. She seems to be doing well gameplay wise. She seems to have the right people allied with her, and no one's targeting her. So good on her. And then you got like people like Chemo here, Chemo and Joseph. I'm like, I don't really know what to make of these guys yet. Like if I want to cheer for them, I think Joseph would have been the guy I'd be going for, but he's been hard to root for. And Quinn sort of would be, but I also don't want to root for him. I want to root against him because I think he's actually doing too good.
Well, it's too easy too. Like it's just like everybody's my alliance. Everybody likes me. It's just like why? Like I don't know. It's his DRs too. Like even though he's honest, like there's a disingenuous like kind of I don't know persona that he's doing. That I don't know. Like I don't vibe with him. Like I just have a weird thing with Quinn where I'm like I don't like you and I don't want to cheer for you. Like maybe that'll change. Like it does change week to week, but right now, like I'm going for my girls, Leah and Mackenzie, and I really don't like anyone else. That's kind of how I'm glad I drafted them.
Do you have anything with Kenny? Like you feel, or you think it's just
Kenny? I don't even think, like you said, doesn't even want to be there. But at least I do like him because he's principled. Like he's like, no, like I know I'm voting Angela tonight because I don't like Angela, and like.
They might want to vote him out now just because he didn't vote with majority.
He was going to get voted, but he was going to vote it out anyway. Like he doesn't really care. So like I like players like that, or just like whatever. I don't care. Like I don't want to play with your giant alliance friggin' group. And and then like usually what happens with these players is like they get overlooked. Like I won't be surprised if Kenny like goes far in the game, because eventually they're all going to turn on each other, and then like Kenny will slide right by and they won't get him out. Like that. I really hope that happens, and I hope it happens soon. And I do think there's a way that's going to happen, and I do think that what Angela was pointing out when she pointed out the group of four that was talking in the hammock and everything, I do think there is like not a major alliance yet, but I do think it could form later. Just based off the way they were talking about, like, we'll protect each other until the jury, and that like they were talking about that. Like to say they were talking about Gabe was a lie. They were.
Yeah, because I think that it like really got me thinking, just from a philosophical sort of like gameplay move here, because it's like, if you were to point at the group that's all black people and say, hey, like that might be an alliance,
right?
And they're not, and if you're wrong, then you're racist. But if you are correct, then it's okay.
No, but it's still not okay. That's the problem. It's still not okay.
Well, I think that's a pickle, right? If that's because the cookout was definitely an alliance that definitely was a thing and went to the end, and it did get the first black winner, and they were having that exact same conversation right in the moment when Angela pointed them out. Now, Angela points out every group of people who sit together and says that's a group. It's like this was nothing special that Angela did, right?
No, but Quinn did use it to screw Angela over.
Totally. And she was right to call Quinn on it, but she went about it in a ridiculous manner. She,
yes.
She should have said, hey, you're the only one I told, and you totally screwed me over. And, that's broken trust. That's all she would have to do. But
she should have done it publicly, like she did with Matt. Like she, like that would have been better. But then it could have blown up in her face, because they all would have like called her a racist or something, and it would have not went well. She would have cried and would have been the whole thing.
Which is kind of said that when Takor said that, like the first time, like she even suggested it, Angela was just like, oh, like it hadn't occurred to Angela. I think that because she points out any group of people that sit together and she doesn't know what they're talking about. She's like, they're an alliance, right? That's just what Angela does all day long, in the house, right? And this just happened to be time she happened to be correct,
right? And they weren't like okay, those four were not like a solid alliance. They were just
not like a named alliance or anything like that,
but
more like an understanding.
They were basically saying to each other, hey, don't target, we will not target each other.
Isn't that an alliance?
Pretty much. Actually, it's more than an alliance. It's almost like an assurance that
a treaty, at least.
It's like a treaty. Like look at was it Chelsea? That was HOH. Look who her three nominees were this week. She had Kenny, she had Lisa, she had Angela, and she replaced it with Tucker. Not one of those three people that she was talking would touch the block, and they wouldn't have. True. They never would have ever.
Right.
So like there
is there like sort of a divide in this house, you think, along those lines?
It's going that way. I do think it is going to go that way in 2 weeks.
It also feels old to a degree, like the younger people against the older people. The older people aren't
because Brooklyn's, I think, going to be with like
with
the younger guys and stuff, but I do think eventually what we're going to see is like a chemo and is going to go with that alliance with like the Chelseas and the Takor, and like I do think that like chemo, and then what's Rabinda? What's her name? Rubina. That will be the six. That will be the six, and then they'll bring in Brooklyn, so that they'll have seven. And then everyone else is not going to be in that side of the house. That's what
Brooklyn's POC, because she is like Hispanic, right?
Right,
Latina.
Right. So, and then so who are the other 7 people or whatever it is, 6 people?
That you haven't named?
Yeah.
Chemo?
No, I mentioned him. I think he'll be with like the POCs.
Okay. Well, Leah McKenzie, Kenny,
Angela, Tucker,
Joseph.
Okay, Joseph could be like with the POCs for a bit. I could see that happening. And then Quinn. So Quinn, and then I think Quinn's gonna
get
taken.
Cam. Cam's with them too, right?
Cam's with them. The PO like I do think it's gonna go that way this season.
Cam's in every alliance, right? He was in the collective and he's in the Pentagon, and no one even talks about Cam.
Well, yeah, because he's really like just laying low and chill, and he knows he's a big threat. Like he's a huge threat. He's a like super athletic guy. So
right. Yeah, but no one's talking about him. Everyone's like good with him. I don't know. Like it seems like there's a few like outliers, like sort of not fitting in with the house. Lisa was one of them, even though she's relatively young, but she just wasn't fitting in with the crowd. I guess Kenny and Angela are the other two to a degree, although they seem to like Angela sometimes. Depending on what's happening, and that's it, right? Like everyone else has sort of got good vibes. I guess you're right. Like Leah McKenzie are sort of left out too, right?
Yeah.
So if they could form sort of an other side of the house, I don't know. I just don't know if those people are going to get together. Is Kenny going to get together with McKenzie, and work with McKenzie?
I do think like if it becomes obvious in the next week or two, like that big group is targeting like the McKenzie, the Leahs, the Kennys, they're gonna go like, what the hell? They're gonna figure it out pretty quick. You know what I mean? It's gonna be obvious. Like, how is it not? It really should have been obvious after Chelsea's knobs. Like it just has to happen again. Like, say Cam wins HOH, or someone from the POC group wins HOH, and they do the same thing. It's like Angela, Kenny, McKenzie, or whatever are on the
now
block.
That Tucker's volunteered to go up, which by the way, stupid.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh, I'll go on the block once, and then I'll have been on the block, and then it'll be all good. I'll have to say I already did it. Yeah, because you've already done it. Now everyone's going to want to put you up all the time. You've already done it. You can handle it.
You've already done it. You get 2 chances.
You get 2 chances to take yourself down. You already won once. I feel confident with you. Like I have to put somebody up. Why not you? Yeah. Right? And like he's so dumb. You never volunteer for that.
And this house is pretty cutthroat. Like they will blindside you. They will backdoor you. Like there's no like real loyalty. I don't think as far as votes go. Like I do think they're all like pretty like gamers. So like watch out, because they will like Tucker's being stupid. Like he in that way. I also thought McKenzie was very stupid for telling him about her power. That was unnecessary. She did not need to do that.
All the people are telling each other about their powers. They're all dumb. Like everyone who they told it to was using it against them. Like Quinn.
Quinn telling Angela, which is absolutely stupid, and making a final 2 with Angela in week 1. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like it's so stupid. Stupidity. Yeah. Like
he dresses like a professor, but he does not act like one.
No, he dresses like he's a snowboarder.
He plays so hard too, right? Like he's always going. Nurse recruiter. I'm still trying to figure that out. Nebraska of all places. Anyway, I'm trying to see if I could figure out the Big Brother 26. Oh, who's the head of household? We'll see if there's any spoilers yet. No. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, so this week was kind of like interesting because you're right. Chelsea got out. Sort of, just people she's not aligned with. She got out a house target. Was this a good HOH for her? I think it was. If you're looking at it just from a Chelsea point of view, who I might be because she's my draft pick, and I'm glad I drafted Chelsea over Angela. Although because for a minute there I was like, oh, maybe I should have drafted Angela because she won the first HOH. Turns out, nope, I was better off with the second HOH in Chelsea. Her week, I don't think anyone's going to put up Chelsea next week, right? Like, who's putting Chelsea up?
I could see like a Kenny or a McKenzie or a Leah. I could see like, okay, say one of those 3 people win the HOH, which is a possibility. I mean, not maybe that high, but
if it's Leah, I think a lot of things could happen.
Okay, say it's Kenny, because Kenny was proven he could win the veto. He's obviously going to go after Angela. That's going to be his target.
He'll put up Angela.
But which would be kind of a mistake for him, right? When you really think about it. Like, even though I understand why he would. Angela, he could probably convince not to go after him. You know what I mean? Like
Could he? I wouldn't trust her
because I wouldn't trust her, but I could steer her. I don't think she's gonna win another HOH. That's just me, but maybe she could. Even if she did, I think you can convince an Angela like I'm not your enemy. These people over here are your enemy, or this person or that because like she's gonna figure it out in her brain either way, right?
I don't know if like she's too erratic for me. I wouldn't. I don't know if like, it's reliable enough. It's too risky. I think is sort of just my gut reaction, because I think like turn your enemy into your friend. It's it's an old strategy. It could work, but Angela,
not your friend, but not like your target. You don't have to target that person. You know what I mean?
No, you don't have to. I don't know, like, because does Kenny have nowhere else to go? Is that why he would be better off to leave Angela safe if he's the HOH?
Well, that's what I was trying to say is like, wouldn't you rather like go after like a big fish? Like, wouldn't you rather get out like somebody that's really kind of like, if I were Kenny and I went HOH, if I were him, and now I have the benefit of watching the show, but I would put up Chelsea, Quinn, and maybe Chemo. Okay. That would be my 3.
Why Chemo?
Because they're all going to vote with each other for many, many weeks in a row, no matter what. And that's the problem. Like, that's how I would view the game, like, is like, who's going to vote together all the time, no matter what? And I have to break that group up, know?
But break up so you're saying voting Chemo. I think Chemo's more of a free agent than you think he is.
Maybe he is. Okay, maybe Cedric. Maybe I go after Cedric. Maybe I go after
like okay, like well, you could put up like Cedric, Cam, and Quinn.
You could do that. I think
I don't think
Chelsea's
Kenny
really
would do
smart. That. I think Chelsea's really smart, so I would want to take out like a Chelsea.
What? So you think? Okay, so you think like that's why? So Chelsea's vulnerable from just if Kenny wins, basically only.
Or what about if Mackenzie wins? Who does Mackenzie want to take out? Angela for the Matt thing? Probably. Again,
probably Angela. Like
that's why it would have been
after Chelsea.
That's why it would have been smart for like that side of the house, like the Mackenzie, the Leahs, the Kennys, like to get Angela out.
The side that doesn't know it's a side.
Yeah, the side that doesn't know it's a side. Right. Would have been smart to take out Angela this week, because they could have also brought Lisa in, and then that's another number for them. And
I think another reason they voted her out. I think Lisa, they were like, we could never work with this woman. She's just too out of it. Like she wouldn't even understand what we're proposing. She just doesn't live in the Big Brother universe.
Okay, so you're telling me that Lisa was less reliable than an Angela in a voting block? That's what you're telling me?
Well, I'm suspicious of this. I don't know for a fact. It just seems to be the narrative they seem to be pitching here on the show.
It does. It does. It just, I mean, I do understand like that she does seem kind of like not with it as far as the game goes, and Angela does understand the game more, but she doesn't know how to play the game at all.
I wouldn't want to work with. I wouldn't tell her any information. She's gonna like blow it up. She's listening in rooms. She's like going around and calling people twits, Jeff. And she's making fun of their walks. What did you think of it when she made fun of the Lisa walk?
Yeah, I missed that part. What did she make fun of her walk?
Oh, she just like does like her strut.
Did her strut walk or whatever
with the hands and everything else, and then Lisa's like Lisa kind of let that one go, and then later on, was it in the bathroom? What happened? What
or was it in like the kitchen there or whatever it was?
Yeah, I can't remember why. What something happened with the laundry. They were bringing why they had these bags of laundry coming in this episode. And I was confused because I thought they already had a laundry machine and a dryer and a washer in the back, which I saw in this episode, but I digress. And then, like she called her something. She's like, won't be. She called her a bully. I think that because she had made fun of her walk earlier, that led Lisa to call Angela a bully later on in the bathroom, and then Lisa was called a twit in response, and then Lisa had a meltdown in the pantry. Did you see the meltdown?
Yes, I saw that part. I
Yeah.
I felt bad. I just didn't. I missed the walk thing, but like I kind of felt bad for Lisa. Like like I was like, is she playing this up a little bit? But I know I think she was like kind of like
I
I
think.
thought it was kind of an unnecessary from Angela. Like it was like, what are you
Oh
doing?
yeah. Oh,
Like,
she's bullying her
yeah, she's
effectively
bullying
because
her.
she's a
And,
little bit like just that not aware in that sense, like Lisa. Like she's just not thinking in
but
those terms.
neither is Angela. Like the both, like Chelsea said it best in the DR. Like, can we get rid of both of them this week? Like they're both so bad at like, but really Angela's worse. Like she is so like I cannot stand like, and Takora said it like I think in the episode before, where it's like you're a grown woman and you were crying like all the time, like 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 and then you flip on a dime and then you're yelling at people and bullying people. It's like you can't have it both ways. I don't feel like that's why I felt better more for Lisa, because like I don't think Lisa was like a mean-spirited person at all. Like she's just kind of like annoying or whatever, but like not like I don't think she did anything kind of bullying or malicious that I saw on the show.
Lisa? No,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
So like I kind of felt bad for her like throughout the whole episode tonight, that I'm just like, this sucks. Like, like why and they did it again in like week 1 too. Like they took out Matt, and I don't think he really deserved it. Like this is the way this season is going. They're voting out the person that doesn't deserve to go home over, like I feel like it's gonna happen like for a few weeks in a row. And then maybe the house will change, but it's kind of disappointing. It's great TV, but it's disappointing. like, like there should be some sort of like a resolution when a vote happens where like the audience kind of goes, that made sense. But both votes, like I understand like why they took out Matt because he was a big threat, but like I kind of feel bad for him again, where it's like he didn't really like do anything other than like he kind of made a mistake when he said to Angela whatever, but then she like completely went off the wall and completely destroyed him. And then this week they should have just got Angela out for not only the map thing but everything else that's been happening. And they're like, now let's take out Lisa. It's like, okay, so like this house has no real like perspective of like how the show is going, or like they're kind of like you saw it after the vote when Lisa went home. It was Angela. Oh, thank you so much for keeping me, and like shut up. Like the whole house is like being so like awkward, and like they're just staring at her. Like there's no like genuine, like they're just waiting till next week to get you out, and it's just like, oh, just stop, just stop. You know what I mean, Dave? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like it was painful to watch her, but also like train wreck effect, right? Where you couldn't look away. So
Yes, like I'm kind of mesmerized by her because she's so, like, I'm like, oh my god, just stop. Like, just go. Like after that happens, just go into another room and do your little dance or whatever. Do not stop talking. Like you're constantly shooting yourself in the foot, and
yeah,
and it's working for her, which is like kind of infuriating from like an audience perspective. You're like, she should have been gone week 1, but she was HOH. She should have been gone this week. I don't see her going home next week because they're gonna find some other person who's a bigger threat to take out.
right. Yeah, well, I think they were just like they wish this was a double eviction, but they had to keep somebody around, and they figured Angela. They know what to expect more out of her.
I don't think Angela's gonna go home next week.
Angela will not go home next week.
I don't think so. That's not how this house is operating.
Angela will not go. Well, then who? Like, who would be the next target?
A threat, a perceived threat. Doesn't really matter. Pick anybody. It doesn't matter. It'll be Mackenzie. She has a power. We gotta get Mackenzie out. It'll be something stupid like that.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. Like that's And I guess so. Does that make you disinterested in how this is going to play out over the next
No,
few
I'm
weeks?
fascinated, but that's not the point. The point is, like, as an audience member, you're kind of going like, this makes no sense.
Like, well, I guess it's like what there's always this thing in every season is like, why can't the people who are going to be the victims of the big alliance not figure this out and mount some kind of resistance? But they never do.
They never do. They never like figure, and it should have been pretty obvious based off Chelsea's noms. Like, okay, what's going on? But that's the problem when you agree to vote with the group.
Yeah,
it shoots yourself in the foot because you don't get to see where the lines are drawn when you get 11-1 votes. Like
right, and that's why they insist on these big majority like votes because it hides those things. But then why? But then if you go against it, you just make yourself the target.
Well, that's why it's designed that way. It's kind of like psychology. Like if you don't go with the group, you're going to be an outcast, and you don't want to be an outcast because then we're going to banish you. So you better get in line. It's kind of like the way society works. And there's like I said, Kenny was the one guy that was principled tonight that was like, no, I don't care. I'm voting out Angela. I don't like her. You know what I mean? And now everyone knows where Kenny stands. Kenny doesn't like Angela. Everyone else, who cares? That anything they say doesn't matter. It's all like they're all going to go in back rooms and scheme. They're all going to scheme to get
schemers.
They're schemers. Schemers with their little plans.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And like that's kind of what is frustrating about Big Brother. You're right, Dave. Is like, why can't like Leah and Mackenzie are a great example. They got totally screwed last vote. Okay, with Lisa. Okay, right. They should have said to each other, okay, no matter what, we have to figure out who's actually with us and who's against us.
Right.
And I don't think we got that on the show at all.
Or if anything, just say, okay, we might be sort of on the outs right now based on the vote, but if the three of us stick together, we're still a voting block. We still are. We might be a little bit of a target, but we might also be something people can work with and as well. Like as an alliance. So I don't know if you're trying to mount some kind of a change. If you're a Kenny, why not take those extra votes that from the other, from the previous week? I don't know. Kenny is doing himself no favors in the game. He doesn't seem to have a lot of agency or care to play. He'd rather be out of there, but he's going along with it for now.
Like Amanda's very angry at like a guy like Kenny. He keeps talking about wanting to leave and and I'm like, okay, like, all right. Put yourself in his shoes. He walks into this house. He's like very excited. He meets like this kid Matt that's kind of like reminds him of himself, and he's like, because his mom or his dad's a cop, and he really bonded with him. And then all of a sudden, this Angela lady wins HOH, barely beats him. And he goes, okay, I'll see how this goes. And then she like flips her lid on him, and then like so like the whole house got like turned upside down like that to Kenny, and it's just like I can understand why he was like, what is this? Like, what is going on? Like, like
I think you're giving him more credit than he deserves, but yeah, like sure. But yeah, what is going on in this house? How is he going to navigate it? I don't think he has the social skills quite to play this kind of version of the game.
No.
And speaking of all the hugging earlier, we did before I came on the show. I looked at some old clips of Big Brother 2 with Jane.
Did they hug?
Jane said no, they were never hugging in week 3. There's no way there was this many hugs as people were
probably did.
I from what I could tell, there was a lot of hugs, in that footage. But Jane said no, this is a new thing. I think those hugs on Lisa on the way out tonight were a little tough.
That was awkward as hell. Like I said,
the coldest hugs. She was stunned. She was like, they all lied to me. They all lied to me, and they voted me out, and they didn't tell me.
And none of them wanted to hug her, but they all had to because she wanted the hugs. She wanted to hug Julie when she walked out. I'm like, oh my god!
But it was also like even Julie got kind of the same kind of hug.
Yeah, but like and she, again, I kind of felt bad for her. Like
she was like, I was totally fooled. I can't believe it.
She was so naive that you're
She's
like
she's from that like universe where they haven't invented lying yet, and they're just like,
right, the invention of lying.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's from that world, and she
Yeah.
just got here, and she's like, I had no idea. Like they figured out how to be intentionally deceptive.
Well,
It's
the problem is with her, like, and you saw it in a few conversations, like with Lisa, where they would lie to her, and she would just go, "Okay, thank you for being honest with me." Like she could never detect the lie. You know, she could never like when Chelsea like just bold faced lied to her. Like she couldn't like process that. She was just
doesn't
like,
have Kenny's amazing abilities.
well, that's the kind of like the thing with Kenny. It's like you're a cop. Like,
Oh, I mean, I met Tucker. Tucker said he had all those amazing abilities.
oh, Tucker.
Yeah, but come on, Kenny's an undercover cop. What is if he wants to leave and he thinks that that's such a threat? Why doesn't he just tell people he's a cop?
Yeah, that'd be a great way to get voted out. Apparently.
Hey, I want to go home. I guess go ahead, everybody. I'm an undercover cop in real life, and they're like, "Oh no, we have to get you out now, Kenny. This is this revelation has changed everything."
This. Oh my God, you can never be trusted ever again.
Yeah, you have magical powers that can't even be
Yeah.
understood by the
You-
common man.
Oh my God, you know what it's like to pretend to be a drug dealer? Oh my God.
You could potentially be in a Die Hard movie or something. Like there's
Yeah.
a lot of inference here. Like you know, because every cop says, you know, including Tony, he's like, people know I'm a police officer. They think this guy's very tactical. He'll have a lot of precision. There's no way they can know these that have these strengths, right?
Like perhaps, like okay, when you're an undercover cop, I guess like depends like how you're deployed and stuff. Like there's the guy that was like in the Hell's Angels, and you know they had to become a totally different character in person. Like, but again, how does that help you like in Big Brother? Like it's like it's a popularity like social experiment kind of show. It's not real life. That's the thing with Big Brother. It's like it's not real life. It's a TV show where you are constantly monitored, and it's like you have to kind of be on your best behavior all the time with what you say, what you do, all the time. Like that's
You don't have to, but
Yeah,
you'd be
yes, you
well
do.
advised. You'd be well advised to. Yes.
Yeah, some people don't sometimes, and they get kicked out or some stuff happens.
They get
but, like,
fired while they're in the house and they don't know it.
yeah, yeah, like you know, or they say something wrong or whatever. But you're always in the back of your head thinking, "I'm being recorded right now. I'm being filmed." You know, how are you not thinking that? You know,
Well, you should be if you're not. But I guess
yeah.
you know, eventually, you know, you're going about your day, you're getting up, you're sleeping, you're eating, you know, and sort of I guess there's got to be a part of you that sort of forgets sometimes, right? You know, like because you're just so bored.
Probably, yeah, probably. I don't know why. I don't think you would be that bored. It's just a different lifestyle than we are, you know, have out here where you can watch a TV show or watch internet or whatever. You know, there's none of that in the Big Brother house, but like it's probably really great to just like talk to people and learn things about them and all that kind of stuff that you know people don't do enough in this day and age, really, quite frankly. And so like I guess it all depends on your personality, like what you're like. But
Yeah.
you know.
Well, that's true, and I think the people who remind themselves of each other, who have like the similar vibe, or whatever, get along at a party, they're gonna tend to work together as well. And that's kind of sometimes what you see with these alliances, but sometimes not. Sometimes it kind of defies that kind of thing. There was something else big I wanted to ask you about from this episode. Oh, okay. This whole thing with the 3 nominees, right?
Yeah.
And they do the competition, the AI competition, which this one in this episode, Tucker didn't do it. I think especially fast, but I think that Angela and Lisa sucked at it so bad that after it was over, Angela goes, "Amazing! I can't believe you, Tucker, that you did that so fast."
Right.
But I think it's fine that he takes himself off the block, and then we get back down to 2 nominees in this final thing. That I think that's fine. But then what the producers have now insisted on 2 weeks in a row is like, okay, come down and look who won the competition. It's Tucker. And then the house guys go crazy, almost over exaggerated, according to Jane. And I was like, well, I don't know. I think they want her to be. Like, they feel like they have to do it for Julie and say, oh, it's so exciting. This competition happened, and now there's a winner, and it's Tucker. Amazing. This is incredible. A hug is in order. Maybe a group hug is in order here.
Can we have a group hug? And
can we have a group hug?
Oh.
Yeah, and then the other, but the big infraction, the problem I have here is that Julie was like, well, now you have a few minutes to decide who you want to vote out between Lisa and Angela. I'm like, they've had a week to think about who they want to vote out between Lisa and Angela. Do you think the fact that Tucker's now off the block has changed their calculus that much?
But would it have been different had like it been Angela versus Tucker? Like,
no, I think that no matter what scenario we get here of whatever combination of the final two go on the block, I don't think the house guests need to go into these strategy sessions, but that's what the producers see. They want it to be like a double eviction where everyone's scrambling and trying to change around their alliances.
And that never happens because the house guests always hack whatever twist they throw.
Right. Well, that's just not going to happen here. They almost want like the live tribal version thing to happen, where we're changing it on the fly. We're going to do, but that's not going to there's no reason to. It's not like these nominations weren't considered. There's no time. There was a lot of time here to think about it, no matter what you had. So especially this week with all the drama going around, they knew that they wanted Lisa or Angela gone. And I don't think there would have been like a last minute, sort of coup here to get Tucker out. Right. If he had ended up on the block, okay, now this is our chance. Let's get Tucker out. Let's blindside Tucker. Right.
Well, yeah. But why is Tucker not a threat, but Matt was?
Well, either way, I guess just my question here is are these the conditions in the game that are going to sort of get the result that they're looking for, where they want that double eviction sort of drama, right? Like that sort of last minute calculus. But I just don't think that's going to happen here when the three nominees are well known for days and days and days, right?
Yeah. I think also okay, so this is the second week. There's 2 more weeks of this AI, I think, thing, right? Because that's when the powers run out, right?
Right.
So I also think they made a mistake. Quinn and Mackenzie should have been told by the AI, if you reveal the power, you lose the power.
Yeah.
So they should not have been allowed to reveal that they have the power. That's what I think personally, but whatever.
I think it's more interesting if they don't, because every time they reveal it, it ends up working against the person who has it.
Always.
There's no benefit to telling somebody about it.
No, it should always be secret.
It makes them feel better. It makes them well, if I can, this is something
they use it as leverage.
They try to use it as leverage or as an icebreaker, at least to sort of form a new thing, but as something you're offering up as sort of a gesture, right?
But it's always oh, thank you for that, and I'm going to tell everybody.
Yeah, thanks. Now I know you have it. Now I don't have to think. I don't have to speculate anymore.
And Big Brother always the show knows this, so why don't you just force them to keep it secret? And if if they don't, then you lose the power, or it's a punishment. Then you get a punishment or whatever. And
it's not just the recruits who do this; it's the super fans too, right?
They all do it. They all play the game the same way too. You notice it. They're they all hack the votes. They all figure out pretty quickly. Oh, they're trying to make it more complicated with 3 people, and then a live eviction, type thing. But
right,
doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Yeah, I feel like if not, it's not. Yeah, so can they just stop it, because they burned so much airtime tonight in this episode with them just with Julie going, okay, well, nobody took anybody into a room. I guess everyone's feeling pretty confident in their vote. What was Lisa going to do? Pull people into a room and say, don't vote for me?
She didn't think she said it in the interview. We already had a big talk about this, and Angela was going to go home, and
days and days have gone by here, Julie. I think it's I'm just they got to give up on this. I think if they try to do this again next Thursday, I would be what are we doing? Have you not?
No, they will. They'll do it for 2 more weeks. The thing is, okay, the next 2 weeks, the powers are going to get used, right? So
Right.
So Quinn probably might use it this week or whatever. The thing, Mackenzie was so stupid. Like, do not tell them that it's like a veto. They should basically told them it's a veto because now they're gonna want to backdoor her if they want to get her out. So like it's just like again. And then with Quinn, like no one knows except Angela that he has it, except she told Tucker, but Tucker didn't believe her. But the thing is, like Quinn's power is like better. Because he can completely change like the HOH.
Who knows he has it?
Angela told Tucker, but Tucker did not believe Angela.
Joseph doesn't know?
I don't know. Probably the whole house probably knows by now. I don't know. They never show you everything, but
yeah. Jamil would probably have that knowledge if he was present, but he's still making his way back from San Diego. I also wanted to ask Jamil about how Chemo says Hawaii, or he goes Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii.
Just like Ransom does in Star Trek, in Lower Decks. Anyway, well, that's another week in the Big Brother house.
Yeah, because I think the official way to spell Hawaii is like HAWAI and then apostrophe and then another I.
So it's two I's for sure.
Yeah, but it's like the real way to spell it is like it's Hawaii, like right.
Wait, you need that E.
Yeah, you need that E at the end.
You need that actual E at the end. Yeah. I enjoy the way he says it. And I also enjoyed in the when they were voting tonight. How everyone comes in and says like thank you, thanks, da, 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 da. And like Leah came in and she said, "Hello, friends and family, miss you, bye." And that was her shout out instead of like trying to say different names. And like Jim, Bob, Julie, da, 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 da. Like, hey, look to my pet, Zippy. I'll be home soon. That was my other little note. Anyway, that's another week in the Big Brother house. Jane loses Lisa in the draft. Jane only has Brooklyn left. We'll see how she does thus far. Hopefully we'll have Foster and Jamil with us next week for the next one. You can go and check out our other podcasts here on Super Mario Brothers Podcasting if you didn't know, including we just Survivor. We did 46 recently. I guess we have 47 coming up in about a month or so. So look out for that. And then we do the Mary Mater Marvel Society here on the podcast. Sometimes talk about MCU properties. Recently we just talked about Deadpool and Wolverine. I was talking to Eamon about that, and Davin popped in. And it was not bad. Jeff, did you know about that movie?
The Deadpool one?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a chance to see it. I heard some people were saying it was bad.
Well, I don't know if it's the best movie they ever made, but I will say that it's made a lot of money.
Well, it was always going to make a lot of money.
It's like one of the biggest openings ever. It's like the biggest R-rated movie ever, and more. Apparently, it's one of the biggest July movies of all time. It's right up there. It's like the fifth biggest MCU movie ever.
Wow.
Yeah, even though it's kind of not MCU, but go check out our review and we'll talk all about it over there.
Yeah.
So, and on that note, I guess there's I don't know if we have anything more on these spoilers. We'll check one more time. Who's the new head of Who Won Household? No news. So we won't have a spoiler section this week. All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. And Jeff, you got any final words?
No. You know what? I'm just excited to see the next one, see where the season goes. And I hope Angela sticks around because she's great TV. All right. Well, love one another, everybody. See you next time.
From outside the Big Brother house, I'm Julie Chen Boonvez. Love one another. Good night.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.